everyone! So it's been just a little bit over a month since I was diagnosed with craniocervical instability and since I started wearing this neck collar. And so I thought I would give an update as to how things are going and how I'm feeling with the brace and just some tips and tricks that I've picked up so far with using a neck brace. So this neck brace has overall been a very positive thing for me, and it's helped a lot more of my symptoms than I ever really thought it would, which is really cool. So it's helped a lot with my neck pain and some of my base of skull pain, and it's also helped a lot with my neurological symptoms like numbness and tingling in my hands and my feet and legs. And also it's helped with these seizure-like episodes that I have mostly at night, which basically consist of me having this like really intense nerve pain and tingling, and then my arms and my legs will flail uncontrollably for a couple of seconds, and it can happen like over and over, and on really bad nights it would happen like repeatedly and I wouldn't get any sleep at all. And so for the first like 3 or 4 weeks of wearing this neck brace, I didn't have a single one of those seizures. So it was obviously happening due to my instability and due to my neck. And actually those types of episodes are not uncommon with CCI. So these episodes that I had for so long at night were honestly like a nightmare. Like you're living in a nightmare every single night, and it's just so much pain and so tiring when your body is uncontrollably spazzing up every few minutes. And so to say that I was excited about having this neck brace relieve those symptoms is definitely an understatement. So it's also helped me to be able to set up for longer periods of time. Before I had the neck brace, I always had this feeling like I couldn't hold my head up, and it was really painful to hold my head up, especially for longer than like 30 minutes or so. And so it's really helpful for going to doctor's appointments and going to dinner or having your friends over and sitting up on the couch, whatever it may be. You know, I've been able to go out and do some more things that I really wasn't able to do, or it was really excruciating to do before. So as you can imagine, at first wearing the neck brace was very uncomfortable and very strange feeling. I was fitted for the brace, and right away, like, it felt weird, but it felt better. I was like, I can hold my head up, and I didn't want to take it off. And even though it was really annoying and uncomfortable, it was better than what I felt like without it. So the first couple of hours of wearing the brace, I noticed that at the back of the brace there's a curve that kind of hits you at the base of your skull, and that was pretty painful for the first week or so, and it gave me a different type of headache than I normally had. And one of my friends from Instagram told me that if you grab the corners of the back of your brace and you kind of adjust it and bend it to where it's more comfortable, that'll help. And that did help a little bit, but honestly, time was what helped the most. So after about a week or two, it stopped hurting as much, and I think I just became used to wearing the brace. And so hopefully that'll be the case for you too. Obviously I can't say for sure. So I thought that I was going to be embarrassed to wear my neck brace in public and nervous, but it helped me so much that I was just like, you know what? Who cares? I don't care if people are going to be staring at me and asking questions and wondering how I injured my neck. It helps me, and it allows me to do things that I can't without it, and so I'm gonna wear it. And chances are, if you have a neck brace, people are probably going to ask you a lot of questions too. They're gonna look at you, little kids are gonna be like, what happened to that lady's neck? And unfortunate, you know, it's not ideal, but if it helps you enough to go do things that you can't do without the brace, then wear it. And if it helps you avoid really severe pain and symptoms, then wear it. I will say that I really appreciate it when people don't ask me about my neck brace, especially when I'm in public and when it's people that I don't know very well or actually strangers, because it gets tiring to have to tell the story as quickly as possible, and sometimes you just want to be treated like a normal person and not a person that's like broken with a neck brace. So obviously when people see the neck brace, they assume that you had a neck injury, which a lot of times if you have craniocervical instability and EDS, you didn't have an injury that caused your instability, and so it makes explaining a little bit tricky. Some of the things that I say are, I have a genetic connective tissue disorder that causes my neck to be unstable. I'm going to need surgery on my neck soon. And if I don't want to talk about it, then I say it's a long story, which sometimes gets me off the hook, but sometimes people want to know the story, so what do you do? And it's tiring and it's exhausting to have to talk about it and answer it all the time, especially when you're processing the diagnosis, and if you're gonna need surgery, the surgery, and it's a constant reminder of, yep, I'm sick, yep, I have this neck brace, yep, I have this condition. But I try to think of it as a way to educate people and to like let them know about the condition that I have, and a lot of people are genuinely interested and they care, and so that's really nice. And so I try not to just think about it too much and just move on after someone asks me about it. If you're looking to kind of hide your neck brace and be discreet about it, wearing a scarf or an infinity scarf in the winter is a really good way to do that. Obviously you're not going to be wearing a scarf in the summer, but the winter is a perfect opportunity for that. But remember that you don't need to hide it, and you still look beautiful in your neck brace. So I have the Aspen Vista TX collar, and this is probably one of the most common collars used for craniocervical instability. The other one that's used a lot is the Miami J collar, and the Aspen collar line actually has a few other options that you can look into. One of them has like more padding here, and I know that there's like an insert you can get for some of the Aspen collars that has an ice pack in the back of your head, which I think sounds amazing. I'm gonna have to look into that one, but I like this collar so far. It's fairly comfortable as a neck brace can get, I guess. I don't have anything to compare it to yet, so I can't say it's the best out there, but it's helped me a lot, so I would definitely recommend it. So sleeping in a brace is not the most comfortable thing, especially at first when you're getting used to it. A lot of people will say sleeping on your back is more comfortable. For me, I still sleep on my side, and that's a little bit more comfortable for me. I remember the first night that I slept in my neck brace, I really didn't get much sleep at all, but to be honest, I was just happy that I was not having my seizures, and so I didn't care, but it is really uncomfortable. And so I would just play around with different things to see what works for you. A lot of times I would get an ice pack and stick it in the back of my brace while I was falling asleep, and that would help a little bit. Just moving around and trying to find better positions, I guess, is helpful. I always take melatonin before going to sleep, and sometimes I take like Benadryl, which obviously I don't recommend. But do what you gotta do, right? But definitely give it time. You know, your body will get used to having the brace on, and hopefully it will be easier to get some sleep in eventually. For me, I'd say it really started to get better after about 2 weeks. So it does take some time to get used to, and if you guys have any other tips for sleeping in a neck brace, I would love to hear them. I still am not sleeping great with it, so if you do, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. So it is important to wash the pads of your neck brace often in order to prevent like rashes and breaking out on your neck in the areas where the pads are touching on your skin. My brace came with an extra set of pads. I think most do. If not, you can order extra sets online. But basically, you'll want to wash them in soapy water. Mild dish soap is what the directions recommended. And I just make sure they're all nice and sudsed up, and then I take them out and dry them on our dish drying rack, and it takes a while for them to dry, so if you need to be wearing your neck brace basically all the time, you're going to need at least one more set of pads so that you can wash them. I was told by a few of my friends that washing them about once a week is a good rule, and so I try to do it every Sunday, and that works for me. Also, taking on and off your neck brace will definitely get easier. I always just take off one side so that I don't have to adjust both sides, and one way that I try to make sure that it's even is if these flaps are about the same length. That will make it so it's pretty even, and it will also make sure you are getting it to the right tightness. Sometimes immediately after taking off my neck brace, I feel like I'm going to throw up, or I get really dizzy, or I get a sudden spike in pain, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer for my symptoms to get worse. Sometimes I'll be okay for 5 or 10 minutes without it. It really just depends. And with craniocervical instability and neck instability, every time you move your neck in certain ways, the vertebrae are coming out of place and putting pressure on the nerves and possibly compressing your brainstem, and so that can cause a lot of really serious symptoms. So anyways, I have definitely noticed a really big difference in wearing my neck brace, but it isn't a cure. I don't feel good. I still feel pretty sick while wearing it, but it makes my life to be a little bit more tolerable and my pain to be more tolerable, and so for that I'm really grateful. So eating in your neck collar is definitely going to feel weird at first. It will probably get better with time. For me it did. It feels pretty normal now. At first it just feels like you're chomping your jaw against this weird bar, but it gets better, and some people just take off their collar to eat every single time, and that's totally fine if you want to do that. I don't. Sometimes especially at first, I would take this knob and adjust the height of the chin part of the brace to allow some more room for chewing. I don't even do that anymore. I just eat, but it's up to you. Whatever feels best for you, do it. So a lot of people with EDS and craniocervical instability also have TMJ and jaw problems. I definitely have really bad jaw problems. My opening is very limited due to my discs being displaced, and so my jaw has essentially been locked for 1.5 years, and so I never can open my jaw further than like this much, and so I've had my fair share of jaw pain. At first, when using the neck brace, it definitely aggravated my jaw pain and made it worse, and it made my opening even more limited, especially after sleeping, and I think that sleeping is probably the worst part for your jaw when you have a neck brace, and so a lot of people tend to clench, especially with the neck brace kind of pushing you up. It's easy to clench your jaw closed together, and something that has helped me as time has gone on with my brace is to focus on relaxing my jaw before going to sleep. And so really making sure that my teeth aren't touching before I go to sleep has helped me not have as bad of jaw pain from wearing the brace. Some people also get a mouth guard to wear at night and to protect their jaw from subluxing or dislocating, and that is something that I haven't tried yet, but I should. Driving in a neck brace can be pretty tricky. Obviously, you don't have any range of motion in your neck, and so in order to look left and right, you have to actually like turn your entire body, and that's tiring and not comfortable. The thing for me that is the scariest is backing out from parking spots and making sure that I don't have anyone coming, because it's hard to turn and look. I do have a backup camera, which is helpful, but you can't rely on that and you have to actually look. So I don't enjoy doing that, but honestly, I have been avoiding driving. I haven't driven a lot in a long time actually, and so I just try to stay local if I'm gonna drive anywhere, somewhere that's just a couple miles away and I don't have to go on the freeway for. But I know a lot of you guys are pros at driving your neck brace. That just is not me yet. Something that I was really concerned about when starting to wear the neck brace was atrophy, and would my instability become worse from wearing a neck brace because my neck would become weaker? And the answer to that is complicated. It can happen, and I did ask Dr. Henderson about this, and he said as long as you're doing your isometric exercises, then it'll be fine. And I have started physical therapy, and my PT is trained in craniocervical instability, and he has me doing very light isometric exercises with my fingers where I'll go and put pressure as if I was going to turn my head in all 6 directions. And he also has me doing chin tucks where I just lightly put pressure on the collar as if I was going to bring my chin to my chest. And so those exercises are supposed to help prevent atrophy in your neck and worsening your instability, but I would definitely recommend talking to your doctor about that and how you can make sure that wearing the collar won't make your instability worse. Thanks so much for watching, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time.